Hello, my mimics, and welcome back to the Mimic Commentary, episode 70, where we continue our adventure out of the Albinoric village and onward and upward through Liurnia on the western coast. Last episode, oh look at him scurry! That guy was really going fast. Last episode we ended with the Crucible, not Talisman, and we didn't do any theorizing with it because I wanted to save it for this episode. But I also just want to get out of the Albinoric village because it's very sad, and it's very sad here. I'd rather go somewhere that looks more pleasant, and maybe, yeah, we were down that way. I think we can get out this way. There we go. No damage. Let me just look around here before we find a nice place to hold up. To hole up and see what we got. One thing I didn't mention was there was a crimson scarab. Oh, a trinity up here. Why? Oh no. You just find these things randomly. What can you see here? You really can't see anything here. It's just you can hear. I hear that there's a scarab somewhere. So what? How else are you supposed to get up here? Because I jumped up here. Down this way? Okay, so you run up the ramp that way. You leave the swamp. You run up the ramp this way. You get to the Trina Lily. Oh, and then you could hear him. What do we get from this? This looks like it's a smithing stone. Yeah, okay, somber smithing stone. Is it the somber smithing stone that it's telling us? I don't think so. I guess, yeah, what do you look and listen over here? I guess we could just see down this way. We got a tower, got a minor Erdtree, and that's really it. Let's put some markers down. We don't want to go too far ahead. I kind of want to do this western region and then take on maybe the outskirts of the no, that's too far. I don't want to go over there. I guess we'll try and move towards the academy. Sorry, just thinking out loud of where we're gonna path. Yeah, last episode was recorded differently because I wasn't feeling the theorizing we're doing. Outside, hey, this is something interesting. All right, so we're gonna get to this tower in just a second, but we can kind of tell who controls this tower because the marionettes are out front, and these marionettes are used with faux glintstone. They drop the faux glintstone, so we know that they're Cuckoo marionettes. They're Cuckoo puppets. As opposed, they're fake. They're kind of fake puppets. Real puppets are the soul manipulation that we saw over here in this area. That is a Karian magic, as it appears to be. Where these guys are firmly Cuckoo magic. So when we see these marionettes, we can assume very, very confidently, I think, that these are part of the Knights of the Cuckoo, not the Karians. So this tower up ahead, this tower we're coming to, is most likely a wizard tower that is owned by the Cuckoos. This is going to be I just think our second tower. This one had wolves in front of it. Sorry, there was Kara barking. I had to make sure she was okay, take her outside. Anyway, we can deduce, I think we could deduce, based on what we will learn about wolves, who controlled the tower in the south, and based on this tower, the converted tower, who controls this one. We're not going to do anything in this tower yet. First, let us take a sit, rest up, and look at the items that we got. A talisman. After we got to the end of the Albinoric village. We fought an omen killer, guy who kills omens. He got horns on his weapons, wearing a cloth, wearing a funny mask with horns on it itself, and he was breathing fire. That gave me kind of like a dragon communion type of ordeal. And he dropped the Crucible, not Talisman. This is a big thing for learning what the Crucible actually is. So let's just, before we read the Crucible, not Talisman, let us look at the things that we know about the Crucible so far. A rarely seen specimen of a young budding horn found by hunting herbivorous beasts. These horns begin to sprout on a beast that typically bears no horn. Perhaps it is a vestige of the primordial Crucible. Same thing with the overlapping fangs. We get the overlapping fangs from, like, the lions, but also the Misbegotten drop these as well. The Misbegotten kind of look like dragon men. There's two types of Misbegotten. We have our red-furred leonine Misbegotten, lion Misbegottens, making us think of Radahn, the Red Lion General. Also thinking of red-haired Radagon, so probably some Crucible in their genetics and in their line. Beast blood is glinting with gold. There's a little bit of gold in the blood of beasts, and because there's gold in the blood of beasts, we get beast livers, which are luscious fruits of life. If we come down to our no, we want to look at our gilded great shield. The red tinged in gold coat mirrors the primordial matter that became the Erdtree. So we're thinking this red tinge, I'm leaning towards blood. And this red tinge in the gold coat mirrors the beast blood to me. And that this is the primordial matter that became the Erdtree. We know that the Erdtrees and the Miranda flowers, they're eating people. So getting that kind of like this crucible, this ancient crucible, this animalistic aspect, this blood, the blood of beasts are, what would you have, as the core of what the Erdtree is. Erdtree, as we got from our Talisman, though, the Erdtree was once perfect and eternal, and thus it was believed that Erdtree seeds could not exist. So there is an Erdtree seed. So let's think about this. We get a seed of the Erdtree. And then, much like we see with the Erdtree roots, we have to feed it some primordial matter, I guess you would say. You would have to feed it, you gotta feed it blood. You gotta feed it the blood and guts of beasts. But what exactly is the Crucible? So when we fought two Crucible Knights. The Crucible Knights, one was in a jail, and the other was in Stormvale. This, one of the ancient Erdtree incantations, this is a manifestation of the Erdtree's primal vital energies, an aspect of the primordial Crucible where all life was once blended together. And we see things as tails and horns. This is also tied to another ancient Erdtree incantation of the Blessing's Boon. Blessings once fell like tears from the Erdtree, and this incantation is but a lingering remnant of their power. Speaking of that life energy, we're seeing it. The life energy gives you the power of animals. It also restores health, and this is ancient Erdtree stuff. Speaking of ancient Erdtree, we have the ancient warriors of the Erdtree, Vow of the Indomitable, found with our Albinorics. Very interesting stuff there. But one last thing, we also, before we get into our Talisman that we just got, we also have our Viridian, Cerulean, and Crimson medallions that also have a primal life energy inside. Inside of the Erdtree, this primordial life energy has the power to boost stamina, boost focus, and boost health. It has the power to boost the mind and the body. So the Erdtree, the Crucible, has the power, at least this primordial life energy, has the power to boost mind, and body. So we have this big life-giving tree. And what is it? What is it that's so life-giving? Let's find out. Let's look at this item. A talisman fashioned from a bony knot that embodies the aspects of various creatures, multiple creatures. So if we think about Margit the Fell Omen, he had aspects of various creatures. Scorpion's tail, horns, a lot of stuff there. Said to have grown on the human body long ago. All right. Long ago, people were kind of looking like the Misbegotten, we could say. The Misbegotten kind of look like how people used to look. Maybe the omen looked like how people used to look. A vestige of the crucible of primordial life. So if we think of the word vestige, a vestige of the crucible of primordial life. So it's a vestige, it's the trace of something that is disappearing or no longer exists. So the crucible of primordial life, not really a thing anymore. This is something that was left behind from it. Born partially of de-evolution. All right, so we're going back. We're going back to, as the next line would say, it was considered a signifier of the divine in ancient times, but is now increasingly disdained as an impurity as civilization has advanced. So early in ancient times, perhaps before the Erdtree, where all life was once blended together and humans were growing different animal parts on their bodies, horns and tails and knots, oh my. It's born partially of de-evolution. It's people going back from less human-like to more animal-like. However, that animal-like nature is what is considered divine in ancient times. I want you to consider ancient times. It's so, let's say thousands of years ago, this was divine. To be like an animal was to be divine. Now I want you to think about this. In the present day, we haven't seen many of the demigods yet. I mean, we've seen the introduction. But we know that Rykard is a demigod, and he is tied to his serpentine demeanor. Okay, he's tied to snakes. That's animalistic. In ancient times, he might be seen as divine. Radon the Red Lion. He is embodying images of a lion. That could be seen as divine in ancient times. Godfrey, with the aged counselor, is it aged counselor? With the aged counselor Sarash, the beast that's on his back that we've seen in paintings. That could be seen as divine. Melania has wings on her helmet. That could be seen as divine. So we have, although it's seen as divine in ancient times, we still have a vestige of that divinity in the modern day. Although it's tied, currently divinity is tied to Marika's family, the Erdtree, and the Elden Ring, we still see some of that cultural overlap in the modern day with how the demigods and the golden lineage choose to represent themselves in nowadays. So really interesting stuff. And that it's found in the Albinoric village. Now we find it on an omen killer, so he brought it with him, but it's interesting that a guy who's killing omens is carrying this as a talisman. Reduce damage and impact of headshots taken. I guess because it's making your head bony. But it's all very interesting stuff. That now, the Erdtree is built on the Crucible, and now the Crucible is seen as not good. And we talked about this in a very early episode, I think Fringe Folk Hero's Grave, where you have dragon worshippers. They're kind of using animalistic aspects, the Banished Knights, the Sun Realm, Godric in some way, him trying to use a dragon arm. We have all these people trying to, even though that this animalistic stuff is seen as de-evolution, it's not good for civilization, we don't like it, we see a lot of people trying to harken back to the past. The past can never be let go completely. It will still try to rear its head. Hey, what happened to you? Magic grease. That's some faux stuff. Hey, what's that message say? I want you to think about how history repeats itself in that way, and what that would look like for the laws of the world. Now, we don't have them yet, but it's interesting that history repeats. All right, that was our little Crucible. We're now learning that it's divine in ancient times. So when we see animals, Crucible stuff, divine in ancient times, when we see things related to animals, we have to think, okay, well, there's a history and a culture that has been passed down through generations that makes animalistic things divine. Here, divinity is Marika, though. And this is the converted tower. What is this? Iridation guide thee. The word iridation. Having an erudite, having or shown great knowledge of or learning. So Learning a lot, it will guide you. What do we have on the table? Cuckoo. Okay. Firm confirmation. This is a Cuckoo tower converted. Okay. So this tower used to be something else. We can't get up there yet. It used to be something else, and now it's been converted into kind of like a miniature church for America. But I don't know. It seems like there's something hidden here. Actually, this is the best that we've ever able to seen behind her back. Goes up into an 8, down, all the way around. Wow. Okay. We're gonna have to remember that shape. Oh. I think this is excellent. We're gonna have to remember that shape. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we actually, if we think about when we were over here and we found the tree spear from the capital, and there was Erdtree noblemen, and there were Cuckoo knights trying to bring this weapon. Not this weapon. Where is it? The tree spear, which has Sacred Order, Golden Order Fundamentalist Knights. Oh, maybe we could see when they converted. If we can learn when that... This is actually... This is a newer statue. You know, from the intro cutscene, we've seen the Marika statue overlooking the Tarnish that had her arms down. This one's newer, so this converted later. And is this show an alliance with the capital? An alliance with Marika? Why is the Marika statue here? Especially, when was that Marika statue built? It is in a similar... I think we've talked about this previously. It's in a similar style of stonework to the Radigan statue. The Radigan statue found at the Church Pilgrimage. So I think these statues were constructed during Radigan's time. Especially since we consider that the statues look different. The Stakes of Marika look different. And those are found in everywhere. And in much older places, too. You know, Marika's the Eternal, after all. So... her influence would be, you know, long-standing, and statues and imagery can change over time. That converted statue must be coming later, and what do you know, Trina Lily? I didn't even know this was here. What do we see? Oh, there you go. This is what Trina wanted to see. There's a dungeon down there. There's also a coastline. Look at that. Catacombs. You explore, you find a Trina Lily, and then boom. Dungeon. Can I... Excellent. But we're going to do that Erdtree avatar. I guess you have to go around the Erdtree avatar. Yeah, there's one of our Marika statues. Hands down. Very similar to the position. This revives us. This is similar to the position at the start of, what do you call it? Of the intro cutscene where we see all the dead Tarnished. Some of our Guardians. Where do the Guardians come from? We don't know yet. I don't think we can get the answer, though. Have we seen any of them come out of the ground yet? I don't think so. Is there only one of them? Oh, no, there's more. Alright, what is this Erdtree going to give us? This is only our second Erdtree avatar that we faced so far in the game, but if we recall, we deduced that if it's the avatar of the Erdtree, that means it's the Erdtree kind of manifesting something to protect it. We were trying to... I don't think we have anything new to theorize about the pots yet. I think these type of grass that's around here signifies like burial, like death burial. I have to confirm that, though. I don't remember if that's correct. I think it's like an Egyptian thing. But we learn more about Alexander and the Jarburg people in between the two Erdtree avatars that we faced. Kind of trying to deduce that the jars were brought here to fertilize the minor Erdtree. And we have our Guardians here. We have our Guardians, who, ancient pact with the Erdtree, said that their deaths led not to destruction, but instead renewed eternal lives as guardians. Now, I had been considering, what does it mean, that eternal life? And I watched Scum Mage Infa's video about the jars, and it's post Shadow of the Erdtree, so we won't have more information on it yet. But I wasn't really picking up. I didn't when that first video first came out. I didn't like it, but I rewatched it again, and I was like, you know what? I think he was spot on. And Eternal Life as Guardians, I think we got another Eternal faction here. So now, I'm leaning towards that. The Ancient Pact. I don't know if these are manufactured Eternals or if these are Eternals, similar to Marika, similar to the Finger Readers, similar to the Eternal Cities, as people made to protect the Erdtree. The 2 Crystal Tiers that we got here, Cerulean Crystal Tier, that makes sense based on where we're at. We're getting things related to FP restoration. But the Ruptured Crystal Tier is interesting. A defective crystal tier which possesses absolute no medicinal qualities. A lesson said to be learned the hard way for some. Faith can be a volatile matter after all. Faith can be a volatile matter after all. Huh. That's an interesting line. I'm going to let you all ponder on that. This is going to be a shorter episode. Next episode, we're going to go, I think, do that dungeon and then go this way, back into the Academy Town, towards that direction. We'll do the dungeon behind us, and then we'll go towards the Academy Town, explore the Academy Town, and then do the Academy. All right, everybody. You know the drill. Let's do the thing.